This is how people end up with an alcohol problem and they don't even know how they got there and don't even realize how or why it happened. So let's go all the way back to childhood, right? When we grow up, alcohol is all around us from the very beginning. When we're kids, we see people drinking. It's this drug that is accepted in our society. So people tend to start drinking at all different phases in their lives. You have some people that start in their teens, whether it's high school parties, experimenting in high school, leading up to college, they start drinking. You have others who start in college. It's obviously a big party atmosphere. They start drinking in school, maybe after school. I've also worked with people who don't even start drinking until their 20s. But regardless of when they start, when they're kids, when they're teens, it's all around them. They might see their family drink, they might see it in pop culture, they might see friends drink, they might see it at high school parties, they definitely see it at college parties if they do go to school. But people tend to start at all different times. And the problem gets away from them because whenever they start, they generally don't start out with the problem at first. So they start drinking at some point in time. Let's say they start drinking in high school. Let's say they start drinking in college. Let's say they wait. They're late bloomers. They don't even start until their 20s. They start drinking and it's all fun and games at first. In the beginning, whether it's just a blast with friends, this is so much fun, or if they start a little bit later, maybe they're not even into it in those younger days, they start a little bit later and they don't start till their 20s, right? So in the beginning, it's fine, it's no big deal. They drink intermittently. Then something changes. There's some sort of a change that they go through. They go through a traumatic life event. One thing I'm seeing a lot of now is the rise of people drinking when they work from home or they don't have to go into an office anymore. Or three, maybe they go through some sort of a divorce. They lose someone in their family. Something makes them start to drink a lot more. And all of a sudden they wake up one day and they realize, fuck, I'm stuck with this. I'm drinking a lot more than I realized I ever was. How did I get here? They don't even know how it happened. The reason for that is alcohol use is not something that we step back and look at because it's so accepted in our society. Everyone you know might drink, your family might drink, your friends might drink. So because you're developing this habit over time, you're not really thinking about it because it's accepted. All of a sudden you get to this point a year later, 5 years later, 10 years later, and you start to look at it and you finally take that step back and examine it and realize, holy shit, I've got an alcohol problem. I don't know how I got here. So I'll give you an example. I was working with a guy recently. He didn't start drinking much until his 20s. He went through college, he didn't drink that much. He went through the rest of life, he didn't drink that much. Once he got into his 20s, he started drinking a little bit more, and he actually didn't start drinking more and more and more until the rise of work from home. He talked a lot about COVID. He said that during COVID, prior to COVID, he was a 9-to-5er. He always had to go into an office. He couldn't drink that much because he was always had to be at work and wanted to make sure he looked good for work. He was of sound mind and body. He didn't have a hangover. But once COVID came, he could just crawl out of bed. He didn't have to drive into an office. All he had to do was be on Zoom calls. It was very, very easy for him to start to develop a drinking problem. What also surprised me about this guy is he started to develop more of a drinking problem the more that he became a parent, because as a parent, there were more events where drinking was socially acceptable. He would go to his kids' friends' birthday parties. He would go to sporting events where there were breweries nearby. And as time went on, he started to drink more and more and more. Now, the challenge with drinking is because it's acceptable, we don't take a step back to look at it. It's not as in our face that there is a problem. If, for example, you had a weight problem and you put on a lot of weight, it would be right in your face. Or let's say you had a problem where you were using some other drug that wasn't socially acceptable. You had a cocaine problem, or you had a problem with pills. It would be a lot more apparent because this is something that people don't accept, right? But because it's alcohol, people are accepting of someone that drinks all the time, someone that drinks hard on the weekends, someone that has a hangover all the time, and they don't stop and say, wait a second, what the fuck am I doing? I'm drinking all the time, I have hangovers all the time, this is impacting my life, because everybody's used to it. They laugh it off. So going back to my client, the guy doesn't drink that much in his teenage years, doesn't drink that much in college, but as he gets into his 20s and 30s, he starts to drink a lot more because of the rise of work from home and his ability to work from home. He starts to drink more in the evenings, he starts to drink more on the weekends, he starts to drink more around other parents, and all of a sudden he has this big bomb go off in his face, he's totally shocked, and he realizes, holy shit, this got away from me. I wasn't a big problem drinker in my teens. I wasn't that guy in college that was drinking that much at parties. And even in my early 20s, I wasn't the guy that drank that much. But somehow, some way, even though alcohol was never my thing, fast forward all these years, I'm now this guy who, as a parent, in my late 20s, still have a stable job. I've got a drinking problem. I don't know how it happened, but I'm here. And that's one of the biggest challenges that I see with people with drinking and drinking problems in general. They don't know how they got there, and they just don't take a chance to step back and look at it and really observe the problem. Alcohol is everywhere in our society. It's pretty accepted by all types of people in our society, but only after people get to a place where it's almost too late do they really start to fully realize they have a problem. If you woke up today with a hangover or just unhappy with alcohol or to the point where you realize you have a drinking problem, there are steps that you can put in place that are pretty straightforward and simple that are gonna help you get through this from the beginning. The number one thing is control your environment. So if you have alcohol in the house, get it all out of the house. That's the first thing. Very simple. A lot of people, the drinking they're doing is at home. Get it all out of there. Don't have it in the house anymore. That's the easiest and simplest way that I work with people to control their environment. Get alcohol out of the house and then stay home. Very simple, very straightforward, right? A lot of people over time start to just keep alcohol around, develop some little liquor cabinet in their house, always have a couple cases of beer in the fridge. It's only natural. If you're in your house and you have the alcohol there, you're gonna drink, right? Get the alcohol out of your house and then stay home. 2 simple steps that you can have to control your environment. Number 2, control who you spend your time with. There's always going to be people that want to drink with you, or you might have drinking buddies, or people that are going to keep you in a place where you're drinking, right? You have to cut these people off. It may not be the easiest thing, but again, it's one of the simplest things. If there is a person who you look at, you look at that relationship you have, and you know damn well, the only thing I do with this person is drink. The only value I get out of this relationship is drinking. You have to cut that person off. Find any way that you can to do it. If you don't feel comfortable telling them, hey, I'm done drinking or I'm taking a break from drinking, find another reason to let them know you can't hang out with these people this week. Once you get these people out of your life, you get your house under control, it's gonna make it a lot better for you. Number 3, identify the triggers in your life that are causing you to drink. Is it your job that you hate? Is it a toxic relationship that you're in? Is it something inside you underneath the surface that is making you want to drink? Find a way to address those problems, whether it's go to therapy, whether it's get out of that toxic relationship, whether it's get rid of that job that's making you miserable. You know deep down what are the things that are making you want to drink all the time. You've got to begin to address some of those triggers. Once you develop ways to address those triggers, once you get away from people that are making you want to drink, once you get alcohol out of your house, these are ways that you can control your environment before you have all of the self-control that you have yourself. Once you get further down the line, if you really build up the discipline, if you get to a more comfortable place, then you'll be able to be around alcohol all the time without drinking. But in the beginning, you've got to control your environment before you can start to control yourself. A lot of guys have a voice in their head that's telling them that either I'm done for good now, that's it, this is the last chance, I'm not drinking anymore, or I can have 1 or 2 and everything's gonna be okay. And then what do we all learn in time? Both of those voices are lying to us. Just white knuckling, as they say, or just telling yourself you're done, it almost never works. Something will come up, you will drink again. You will always have that fortitude and that strength in the morning when you're first super hungover and super miserable, and then you'll tell yourself, I'm so unhappy right now, I'm absolutely done, I know how bad I feel right now, I'm over this, I'm done. But hours go by, days go by, you start to forget how absolutely miserable you were, and then you allow yourself to drink again, right? It's the same thing with telling yourself you're only gonna have 1 or 2. Sure, we all say that. I'm only gonna have 1 or 2 drinks. I can have just 1 or 2, I'll be okay. Not the case, not gonna happen. And so you have to know that going forward and realize that you don't have the willpower on your own. Almost no one does. There's very few people that can just swear off alcohol and tell themselves they're done. and all of a sudden, they're like magic, they're done. There's even less people that have a drinking problem that can truly go from having a drinking problem to having 1 or 2 drinks and cutting it off there and being a casual drinker. It doesn't happen. That's why you always hear people make jokes about saying, I'll just have one, let's just have 1 or 2. Because it's not reality, you can't do it. Eventually you're going to have those 1 or 2, those 1 or 2 are gonna turn into 9 or 10, and you're gonna end up miserable again. So just swearing it off, just telling yourself, yeah, I'm done for now, or I'm only gonna have 1 or 2, it almost never works. I've been sober for almost 15 years, and I work with people, specifically guys who have gotten to a place in their life where they didn't know how they got there, they don't know what caused this, but all of a sudden they realize they've got a drinking problem, and I work with them day to day to find ways to fix that. Number one thing, as I already mentioned, is that you take a step back and you totally look at the problem from the outside. You ask yourself, how did I get here? How did I get to this place where all of a sudden I have a drinking problem? Then you start to identify the triggers in your life. What are the things that are making you drink? You need to learn to control your environment. Where do I drink? How do I drink? What people do I drink with? Until you build the discipline to actually deal with the problem head on and know that day by day you're not gonna drink no matter where you are in the world, you've gotta control your environment before you can control yourself. So we've gotta make sure there's no alcohol in the home. We gotta make sure you're not going around people who are going to cause you to drink when you really shouldn't be drinking, obviously. Gotta make sure the people, places, and things that are always around you are not gonna cause you to drink, so that over time you can develop that discipline on your own. Again, my name's Scott. If you wanna talk about your drinking problem, you can hit me up on Instagram. You can click one of the links below. You can set up a call with me. We'll do a Zoom call. We'll talk about your problem anonymously, and we'll try to form a plan to make sure that you don't let your drinking problem totally destroy your life.